I feel very grateful to welcome an incredible talent with an incredible life story. It's the son of legendary soul singer, Mr. Excitement himself, Jackie Wilson, and who has an uncanny resemblance both physically and vocally. It's Bobby Wilson. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Now, Bobby, your journey has just been incredible. The things that
Yes,
I've read, honestly, I feel like you've had such an amazing and colourful life experience so far.
yes. Yeah, it's been a journey, it's been a journey,
Yeah,
but I'm blessed to be able to do the music and keep my father's music going as well.
that's
And
so special.
it's been uplifting. I have to say that.
Let's go back to the start, really. So you were born in New York, but grew up
Born
in
in yeah,
Colombia.
born in a midwife in Westbury, Long Island, and then I grew up in South Carolina in a foster home situation.
And was your childhood happy?
Yeah, I was very happy.
Ah,
I had
good.
a lot of things I was going through. I had underdeveloped lungs and chest, undeveloped intestines, and then I had rickets of the bones, and they had to break both of my legs to straighten my legs, and they had to operate on my feet to straighten my feet. So, but most of that I don't remember.
Hmm.
Maybe I blocked it out. I don't remember going through the operations and stuff like that. I do remember wearing the braces from my chest all the way down with the weighted shoes. I remember wearing that. I remember the cast. Well, but my mom used to sit me on the couch and I would listen to the music. My sister would play all the hits at the time, the Motown music and soul music and country music and gospel music. I used to sit and rock to the music
And
because
so
I
you
couldn't go.
connect with it.
Yeah, because I couldn't go out and play.
Hmm.
But I never considered myself unhappy.
No, that's good.
We always had a lot of kids around us.
Yeah,
My mom had at least 10 kids in the house at one time.
yeah.
And we were always playing and, doing what we do. It wasn't until I became a teenager that I got over all of my sicknesses and I started really becoming, I guess, an extrovert in a way. I started running cross country and playing sports, baseball, football, basketball. I didn't do that till I hit about 14, 15 years old.
And what made you want to go on to join the Navy?
Well, a lot of reasons. One is because after I realized that I was a foster child and the state of South Carolina had these programs in place to make me well, I wanted to give back to the country. So, and I wanted to travel. So the easiest way was to join the military.
Hmm.
And so I looked at all of them, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, and I landed on the Navy. I said, no, I joined the Navy. I get on ships and travel the world. And that was my thing. Plus, I was studying engineering, and engineering department in the Navy was the best. So,
Yes.
so I wanted to join it. So that's what I did.
Fantastic. But
Yeah.
you didn't stay for too long. 10 years you did?
I was going to do 30 years,
Yeah,
to be honest.
yeah.
After 10 years, I started passing kidney stones, and I got a medical discharge with
Mm.
honors. That's when the music started. I was stationed
Yeah.
in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii,
Mm.
and I was hanging out at the officers club when Peter Hernandez walked up and heard me singing a karaoke song.
So Peter
And
Hernandez was from the Love Notes.
he was from the Love Notes,
Mm.
and he had a group that he had moved from New York to Hawaii, and they were working down in Waikiki. 7 guys, 7 young ladies, a little boy, his son Bruno, was baby Elvis in the show.
Now that's interesting in itself, isn't it?
Yeah,
Little Bruno.
yeah, he was 6 years old. He was doing Elvis and Michael Jackson, and I thought he was a fascinating little kid. I actually told his father, "You got a Michael Jackson on your hands." And of course, I worked with that family and worked with Bruno until he turned 19. And of course, now Bruno's the pop star, Bruno Mars.
I just find that fascinating in itself because a lot of people
Yeah,
would think, Bruno Mars, this great pop star, an overnight sensation. But of course, he'd been doing it since he was 5 years old.
yeah. Actually, before me, because
Yeah.
I never forget one of the first things he said to me. He looked up at me when they first hired me. He said, "Hey, how long you been in show business?" I said, "What?" He said, "How long you been in show business?" I said, "Oh, I just started. This is, my second week." He goes, "Oh, I've been in 3 years." And he turned around and walked away. So he was six. And he told me he'd been in three. He said, "I've been doing it for 3 years." And he turned around and walked away. I was like, what?
Crazy
He was a
stuff.
little snot. He was a little snot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, he's great. I'm very proud of him. He's doing such a good thing. His whole career, he's killing it. He's killing the game, writing and
Super
producing.
talented. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Working
So,
with the biggest stars in the world.
yeah. So during that time, then, what was that like playing alongside and being the backup singer and sort of learning your
It
craft?
was it was it was exciting. I was full-time Navy, and I
Yeah.
went from being a sailor to being an entertainer. It was mind blowing.
Yeah.
It was mind blowing. And then the fact is, I realized when I was with that group, this is what I want to do. I didn't. I never had that idea before then that I
Right.
wanted to be a singer, musician. I never had that idea until I worked with the Love Notes. So once I got the taste and the bug,
Mm.
I was done.
It's almost like you were always destined to do that.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like I was.
Yeah.
I feel like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. Because it
And
must have been initially quite upsetting for you to have to leave the Navy if that's what you always wanted to do and you had a medical issue and so I imagine at the time you must have felt quite disappointed.
I was.
Yeah.
And the Navy, I was looking at the Navy as a retirement thing and
Mm.
just enjoying my life after that, and never saw myself, on stage
Mm.
performing.
So
But once I got there, and when I went through the Navy, at the time I was married also, so I went through a divorce at the same time. So
wow.
I felt like my whole world just fell apart, like shambles.
So lots of struggles, but it just goes to show you, doesn't it, then that one door closes and another one opens and it's completely different. It couldn't
And
have
I
been
give all of
more
that
completely different.
I give all that glory to God because He opened
Yeah.
that door, and I was prompted to walk through, and I walked through, and now I'm here on this side with the music, and I'm very,
Yeah.
very happy.
And the story is incredible. So tell me how then you went on to meet and work alongside the Four Tops and how it was them really that alerted you to this incredible connection with your
Yeah,
father.
it was quite easy. I was working with Legends in Concert in Bally's in Atlantic City, and they were in there doing corporate shows. Nobody knew the Four Tops was even in there. And they would come in every night and watch my show. And then they would see me in the casino or down at the shower hall or whatever, being myself. And they kept saying to themselves, he never turns off Jackie Wilson. He's Jackie 24/7. So they asked the entertainment director to meet me. And when the entertainment director walked up to me and said, "Hey, do you know the Four Tops?" I was like, "Yeah, I know them. I love the Four Tops." He goes, "No, do you know them personally?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, they know you. Follow me." And so I followed them up there, and I walk into the green room, and there they are, Lawrence, Obi, Duke, and Levi, all there. And I'm like, oh, goo eyes, and it was like, and they said, "Are you being Bobby or are you being Jackie right now?" That's the first question they asked me.
Ah,
I'm like,
interesting.
"What? Are you being Bobby or are you being Jackie? Who are you being right now?" I said, "I'm Bobby. I don't know what Jackie Wilson would be like outside of the
Off
stage."
stage. Yeah.
Yeah. And I said, and to be honest, I don't know what he's like on stage because I don't have anything to show me. At the time, there was no video. So,
Oh, wow.
so, so Paul Revere, the man that actually hired me,
Hmm.
I was complaining to him. I said, "Hey, could you call your friend Dick Clark and see if I can get some footage from American Bandstand? Because I don't know what this guy's like. I don't even know what he looked like. I'm just going by everybody's word that I look like him."
Like you.
Okay, so I didn't know what he looked like. So, and Paul said, "Dick is not going to give me in the video. So, just be yourself. You're being him without." He said, "Just be yourself. You're being Jackie without you even knowing it. Just do your show, sell your show, sing those songs, dance your dance." Okay. I mean, so I felt weird because I was in an impersonation show where the guy that did Michael Jackson looked like Michael Jackson, sound like Michael Jackson. The girl that did Madonna looked like Madonna, sound like Madonna. And I'm in there doing Jackie Wilson, but I'm doing me. I
Yeah.
felt so awkward. Like, okay, I don't have, and I felt jealous because I had nothing to copy. Like these guys, I walk in the dressing room, they got video running 24/7 of the artists that they're portraying.
Mm.
So I have no video.
Yeah, so
I
that's so
walk in-
interesting. They're mimicking and you just being you,
yeah,
exactly like your dad.
and I didn't know that I was being
No,
exactly like.
no.
No, I had no idea. And it wasn't until Levi and Duke and them told me, that, you being like him, that I got that. And then when they started questioning me about my background and they knew my mother, that's when they said, it makes sense. And uh,
How
and
did
then
that make you feel at the time? Because that must have
I
been,
didn't know how to feel. I didn't know how to
no.
feel. See, I grew up with nobody looking like me. I grew up with no aunts, no uncles, no cousins, no
Mm,
grandmas, no grandpas. I didn't know how to feel.
no.
It just didn't know. And nobody to lean on, So
Mm,
my mom used to tell us, all we have is Team God, us and God.
mm,
That's what we got. Don't worry about anything else. She says, because if God wanted you to have that structure, you would have had it. But this is the way God wanted you to be. She would tell us that. And so, and she said, God, and you're special. God is going to use you. So let God use you. When you need to cry to somebody, cry to God. If you need to talk to somebody, talk to God. He's right there. He's listening. He's waiting for you. And so she convinced us as children, when you hear that voice that said, don't go in there, that's God talking. You hear the voice said, don't go out with your friends when your friends call you and say, hey, let's go out and party. That's God talking. If your friends say, hey, take a hit off this, and you hear the voice say, no, don't do it, that's God talking. She said, God is always talking. It's just a
mm,
matter of us listening. And so I kind of grew up with that.
mm.
And so once I grew up with that, I never thought about, family until, I met the Four Tops. And then they said, first thing they said is, we are family. You're part of our family. And
Yeah.
I didn't know how to feel. And they hugged me. And I remember going, this is weird.
Yeah.
And then, but it took time. But I really got close with my brother Thor. He was the baby boy of the family. And that's when I started opening up and letting the love from the family come in, those that would love me anyway. So it's been a journey. But now my whole motive is to keep his music alive, my music alive, tell his history. I tell Jackie Wilson's story every stage I get on. I make the kids Google his name in the show
Oh, do
because
you?
I
Yeah.
see the kids in the show. I said,
Yeah.
get your mom's phone, get your dad's
Yeah.
phone. I want you to Google, and they grab the phone out of the parents' hand.
I bet
I
they
said,
do. They've
I
probably got their
Googled.
own phones.
Yeah, I said Google Jackie Wilson, Google Jackie Wilson,
Yeah.
and they do. No, when they come to show the mothers, the parents take the phone from them. So I said, no, grab the phone. I need
Yeah.
you to Google these names. I said, I'm gonna call a bunch of names out that you ain't not gonna know nothing about, but I guarantee you're gonna love the music. And that's what I tell the kids.
Oh,
And
that's
so I start,
fantastic. And that's
yeah, I'll call,
keeping his name alive, the memory alive, the music
yeah,
alive. A new
yes,
generation are going to know about him as an artist as well as you and your
right.
incredible story.
Absolutely. And there's a biopic out on me right now called The Last Teardrop. It's streaming on Tubi and Amazon Prime and Apple TV. But it tells my story of being in the foster home, growing up in the foster home, learning to live with nobody looking like me, and then waking up one day and find out, wow, that is somebody that looks like me, or I look like them.
Yeah.
And so it, it 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 points out my journey, and and to be continued, of course, because I'm still writing the story.
Yeah. Now, sadly, you never got to meet your dad, did you?
No, no, no,
So
no.
you
He
found
he
out after
passed long
he'd
before.
passed.
Yeah, he passed long before I knew who he was.
And I'm sure you've thought a lot about what you would say to him, what you would have said to him had you been reunited as father and son.
the only thing is I would hope that he liked what I'm doing as far as I would hope that he would like what I'm doing. See, nobody has a voice like Jackie. Nobody sings like Jackie.
Well, you do.
I have my own voice, but not like his. And I just would hope that he would think that it was good, that what I've done, he would be proud of.
Oh, I'm absolutely
And
sure he
music
would be.
wise, music
Yeah.
wise.
Yeah.
And that would be it. I would hope he would look at me and say, "Boy, you sound like crap," you know. you know.
No. Do you ever get signs when you're on stage and you're singing his songs? Do you feel him there with you?
Lots of times,
Yeah.
lots of times. And,
Yeah.
and people put pictures of me, and then I see these orbs in the pictures.
Oh,
I
wow.
see these circles,
Yeah.
and the spiritual people point out to me and say, "That's
Yeah.
somebody there. That's somebody there with you."
Yeah. It's like the
Sometimes I
angel.
get these pictures with orbs around me. All these orbs.
I
You
love
know,
that.
yeah. And I was like, "What is that?" They said, "That's orbs. That's a spiritual
Yeah.
orb." So
Yeah.
yeah, I feel them around me.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah, I
sure
do.
he
I do.
is.
I feel
Yeah.
around. Feel my brother around me too. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And I thank my grandmother, my mom. Yeah, I feel a lot of people. Yeah, my mom that passed, and my mother that raised me. I feel her a lot.
That's
So
lovely.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
important.
yeah,
So let's talk about your EP then. So, how did you get to connect with Tony Mantor? Tony's brilliant, isn't he, in plateau
yeah,
music? How did
yeah.
that come
Tony,
about?
Tony's fantastic. I don't know how we met, to be honest. I think somebody referred me. Somebody saw me singing from Nashville and called Tony and said, "You ought to check this guy out." I get a call from Tony. We become instant friends. I fly
Oh,
out to Nashville, meet him, and then we decide, let's do a project. And that's how it started. And we've been friends ever since. This particular song, when we did the album, he asked me, "Is there any song I want to put on, a signature song, a signature piece?" And I said, "Yeah, I got this song I wrote a while back. I like to put it, but it's kind of a country song."
mm,
So I let Tony hear it, and he said, "Oh, you can sing it." I said, "You sure?" Because I hear a country guy singing it, like Alan Jackson, George Strait, somebody country music style. And he said, "No, no, no, you can sing it." So
mm.
we did the song, and then Tony gave me a line in it with open arms, and it came together, and it's one of my, from what I understand, people really like the song.
Yeah,
So it's a great song,
it's
and
a
the
great
song came
song.
from a story. From a story, a friend had told me a story about him and his wife, and that's how that song came about.
Right.
Yeah,
Ah, so did it take you
yeah,
long
yeah.
to write?
No, because what happened was he told me, he met his wife years ago, but they were like best friends. But he would listen to her problems, and then she had different boyfriends that she was having problems with, blah, blah, blah. And then she finally turned around and said, "Wait, you're my soulmate. You've been here all along." And he looked at her and said, "It's about time." And and then I went to bed because that song was in, I guess that story was in my head. And while I was sleeping, I heard the song.
Oh,
About time
fantastic.
you see the one who cares for you. It's about time you recognize who loves you so. So all that whole thing came in my dream. So I jumped up out of my bed, and my and Billy Roquel Davis, which is one of the Four Tops cousins, my dad's first cousin. He's the one that actually signed Jackie to Brunswick. He also co-wrote Repeat and Lonely Teardrops and To Be Loved and I'll Be Satisfied and et cetera, et cetera. About 15 songs
Wow.
for Jackie.
Yeah.
They all wrote. And so he told me, put a tape player by your bed because you probably get your music in your sleep and you don't realize it. And he was correct.
Good
I was
tip.
dreaming about music all the time and never paid attention to it.
Wow.
And that song came in its entirety. So I jumped up, grabbed my tape,
Yeah.
and sung in it, and then went back to sleep. And then the next day I worked out all the chords, and That's what you got.
Brilliant. Oh, I love the way. I love finding out how the stories come together. These songs come into the mind. And it's
Yeah.
when you're, going to sleep and then your brain is all creative, the subconscious is working. But thank goodness that you
Yeah.
actually woke up and got that down, because I
Oh,
bet if
yeah.
you'd have gone into another deep sleep, woke up the next morning, you mightn't have been able to get it back.
I wouldn't
No.
because I've done it many times with different songs. I got a lot of songs I'm still want to produce. I still want to lay down
Yeah.
and I sing into my tape player, and then I go back to sleep
Yeah.
because once I hear it, then the idea comes right back, and I got it.
You can
So
put it to bed then to get
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Pardon the pun.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a
absolutely,
great way of doing it. So, am
yeah,
I right here with this information? You're a 3-time Grammy balloted artist.
4 times.
4-time now. Oh, 4-time. And you've had 4 top 10 hits that peaked
Yes,
at number 10 on the adult contemporary charts. That's not bad going, is it?
it's okay.
You're doing all right. You're doing all
It's
right.
okay.
It's absolutely brilliant. So I love this song then. So you're re-releasing this song with Plateau Music and Tony Mantle. It's really
Right.
brilliant. And what's next for you?
Well, we're still working on new music. I got some new music coming out soon, so hopefully you'll hear about it.
So this will be
And
a new album?
new
A new
EPs.
EP?
I'm working on
Yeah.
several different EPs
Okay.
right now.
Yeah.
So yes,
Great.
yes. So
And
hopefully you'll hear about it, and we can push the envelope on that too.
definitely. And tours?
So again,
Any tours coming up?
they are working on a tour for the UK as we speak.
Yes, so you come
So
and see us.
yes, hopefully the second half of the year,
Oh,
and
fab.
I look forward to coming there.
Oh, brilliant. Well, we must connect again if you're coming over, and then we can share the dates and definitely come and see you.
Thank you. I look forward to it.
Thanks so much for joining me. It's been so lovely to chat with you. What a fascinating life. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll see you soon.
See you soon.